Is your job a great match for your energy type? Let's take a look today. Hi, I'm Carol Tuttle, the best-selling author of It's Just My Nature. This book's going to teach you about yourself in a compelling and interesting way to understand you have natural gifts and tendencies that you may be avoiding or even think are unattractive or you shouldn't have them. It's going to free you up. I have a lot of great reviews about this book. It's been life-changing, literally, for thousands and thousands of people. So grab a copy and get going on living your authentic self effortlessly. In my free beginner's guide at dressingyourtruth.com, I introduce you to the 4 types: upward light type 1 nature, fluid flowing type 2 nature, push forward substantial type 3 nature, reflective clean linear symmetrical type 4 nature. Now, when we look at jobs for each type, it's very important to first think of your movement, because everything we do in life has a certain quality of movement, whether it's more of an outward expression of us or an inward quality within us that it's drawing upon. So there's certain questions in everything that we do in life, especially when it comes to jobs. Is it more of something that will require an internal quality of me? Will I spend more time thinking, feeling? Will it be more of an inner state that I'm in this job? Or will I be more in an outer expression? Does it involve people? The same people, day in and day out? Does it mix things up? Is it routine? Does it create variety? So first of all, you got to kind of profile the job. What's the quality of movement? Inward versus outward. Routine versus variety. Is it something that allows you to perfect it versus kind of moving through it quickly and it's just good enough? See, because each of these qualities of movement that we experience in roles that we play in jobs will either match or be in conflict with our true movement. Now, I briefly went over the movement of the 4 types. And so again, get versed in this in my book, It's Just My Nature, and in the free beginner's guide at dressingyourtruth.com. But if we were to look at what is each type's movement thrive in when it comes to a job, I'm going to review that, and then let's look at some jobs that are a good fit for each type. So type 1 is that upward light movement, and so we want to keep an upward light movement. They like variety, an outward quality to the movement, a putting themselves out there into something. It might involve people, it might not, but there's this engagement quality, engaging with something that feels fresh, fun, and interesting, and that it stays light. If the job starts to feel too serious, too heavy, a burden, it feels like they're trapped. So there needs to be that breath of fresh air quality to it, and the freedom to be their more spontaneous self. Because if they're having to be repetitive and over and over doing the same thing, and then they get called out for not being consistent, that's a problem, because their nature is to create enough consistency within the freedom to be inconsistent. Type 1s can be consistent, but when it's placed upon them and there's pressure to be that way, that it really can backfire. So it's like, I have the freedom to choose consistency to what degree serves this role. So certainly that commitment comes forward. I work with my daughter-in-law who's type 1, and she's very consistent, but if I were to put pressure on her or really try and micromanage that or make it this serious thing and not give her accolades for how consistent she is, she'd probably she'd not want to be participating in it. It's her right to choose consistency within the freedom of how she does it. I don't tell her when she has to have it done by. I let her decide all that. I let her create the consistency. So type 1s can be consistent. It's when that pressure is applied from outer influences that they then are more likely to be inconsistent. So that's good news, because type 1s get a bad rap for that. It's just, you got to choose into it yourself. Now, your type 2 fluid flowing movement has a relaxed, kind of blending, methodical quality to it. So when they feel pushed, when they feel pressured, when they feel they have to hurry up, creates anxiety, and they're going to have if they try and accommodate that, their health will be compromised, or they'll really want to pull away from it. It's kind of like a turtle that wants to go in its shell and just kind of cower in there, like, I can't deal with this pushing, this pressure, this go, go, go. Come on, you need to be more, you gotta bring it on. It's like if a type 3 were to be your boss and they're just pushing you, and you got to get more results, and you've got to be more aggressive in what you're doing. It's going to make a type 2 sick eventually. You're not going to thrive because you're not bringing your best self into the experience. So you want to have something that allows you to create a plan, move forward, flow through it. I get this question a lot, if every type can be an entrepreneur or good at sales. Yes, if they're true to themselves. So if a type 2 is trying to be a salesperson like a type 3, no, they will not succeed and they will not last. And it depends what you're selling. If you have to be kind of pushy to get people to buy something, which, I mean, I don't particularly like that in any scenario, but you got to be able to, like, let's just take, for example, if you're selling something people need, it's something in their lives that they're already using, and you just represent a certain brand, then you just have to teach them and educate them why what you're offering them is a good choice. And so there's not this pressure to convince them they need it. So you'd be better at selling things that people have already decided they want and need in their life, because it takes the pressure off. So make sure that you've got that ability to make a plan, take a little bit of time that you need to move forward in your action, and that you're the one choosing into that again without an outside pressure. Type 3, that push forward, determined, substantial energy, it will do well within a construct that they can be in charge of themselves. They don't like being micromanaged, and they like challenges. They like to meet goals, break records, prove themselves in a way that they can do it. And if it's repetitive in nature, they get bored. If it's just the same thing, wash, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat, that gets old, and it's hard to thrive in a routine like that. And if it's a very inward, they need to move around. I see a lot of UPS drivers. They even get to dress their truth because they're wearing brown, but they're hopping in and out of those trucks, they're moving around, they're moving quick, and they're getting their deliveries done. And so you need something that incorporates movement and a physical aspect of what you're doing, that you're not just processing thoughts and feelings internally all day long, because you'll feel stagnant. Your energy's not being invigorated. Type 4, that more linear structured movement that creates efficiency and has an eye for perfecting things, needs to be put in a role where they can perfect, where they can be giving feedback on how to improve a formula, a process, a system, that they're able to take ownership of something, if not reflecting that on a team of people where that's their role. They have ownership and their own authority of something they can perfect on their own, and that they have authority over that. If they're put into a role where they're being directed, told what to do, corrected, there's an authority over them that feels like they're sort of being minimized, it will not work out. You won't thrive. Can you stick around in those jobs? Sure, but you won't love it. You won't be able to say, I love what I do. I love my work. It's kind of like going to work for a paycheck to make the money. So also, the other problem is when your natural gifts and tendencies are mismatched, you'll come across as annoying and a problem in the workspace. You're type 4 that will be seen as the know-it-all and always correcting everyone because they have a strong opinion, but they're not in a role where they get to contribute that for the betterment of the company, the brand, and the people involved, and the customer. A type 3 is going to come across as pushy and demanding when they're not in a role where they can use that energy to the betterment of their job. A type 2 is going to come across as kind of like come on, you're too slow. Pick it up here. You're not aggressive enough. They'll come across as not enough when they're put in a role where that's required. And a type 1 will feel like, you just got to settle down because you just create too many distractions because you need them to keep things interesting. You need to have some variety for things to be interesting in your job. See how that will just play against you, and then you'll continue to attract that negative judgment from others and where things aren't working out for you. So make those corrections. Now, I had a member in my Dressing Your Truth community in our lifestyle Facebook group recently post this awesome, timely picture of herself. She's a type 4, the secondary 2. Knowing this, she was so excited because she even wrote this. A type 4, the secondary 2, will be least likely inclined to post something publicly and kind of put it out there, what's going on in their world. They're very private, they're very inward. But she was so honored by the fact this had happened in her life. She wanted others to know. And I think, too, it was in her effort to say, you can have this as well. But she says, I have to share this here. I received something special in the mail today, so I'm now a licensed funeral director. She got her license. She says, I tried to find a job for almost 2 years. I attended the 2017 I Love My Life event where I met Carol Tuttle, who confirmed my type 4 secondary 2. I realized at that event that I had been looking for the wrong kind of job. I needed an environment that was calmer, slower, and also a place where I'd have the chance to be me. After I came home, I saw a job posting for an office manager at a funeral home. I applied, had 2 interviews, and was hired shortly after. After getting into the industry, I felt a pull towards being a funeral director, which is not something I would have ever considered before. So I applied, fulfilled a 12-month apprenticeship, and am now officially licensed. I love my job. I'm so grateful for the opportunity that opened up to me. I know it's because I knew my type. I love that. A type 4, secondary 2. You've got the funeral director, perfect. They've got to move people through processes at a time when there's so much emotion. There's a lot of grief. There's a lot of, wanting to celebrate someone's life. And they have these natural gifts that just meet that need in that job. So what are some other jobs? What are you thinking of right now? I recently posted in the Lifestyle Facebook group that you can become a member of. A lot of great conversations happen in there. But I said, what jobs do you think are a great match for each type? What jobs have you had that were perfect for your type? We've had over 100 comments in this thread. You can search it if you're in the group. Come please join us in that group. dressingyourtruth.com/lifestyle is where you want to sign up for lifestyle. Lisa Kennedy says, I'm a 3 secondary 2 and I clean houses. I love being active while seeing the results and I get paid on the spot. I love that. It's like right there, I'm getting paid. I'm the cook at a small private school, 330 students. I love it because it's fast-paced and I never have time to get bored, staying on top of stocking the pantry, a la carte options, and the main entree every day. This is also from a type 3. Then we've got a type 4 that is 28 years of my career in the OR as a nurse and the last 12 in the IT world as a clinical analyst. I believe that I'm a type 4 and I have wondered if that is why I have chosen nursing specialties that require less emotion and more analytical skills. Where, again, I love that insight that she wants to be in the data side of the medical field rather than in the people side in where she's dealing with emotions. Such great ahas. We've got another type 4, anthropologist, archaeologist, freelance content writer, researcher. Again, all those inner processes that she's involved with. I'm a 1-3, as a teenager, my 2 favorite jobs were camp counselor and Build-A-Bear workshop. I love them both so much because they were so much fun. Another type 1, just retired after 40 years as a preschool teacher. And let's see some type 2s in here that they've posted. We've got a lot of type 3s posting. A type 2-4. I haven't found a job that I really enjoy yet that supports my energy. Seems like everything is too outward for me, but she's learning now that what she needs, and she's really getting in touch with what's not right and what she needs as a type 2-4. That it needs to be more inward focused for her. And she's seriously considering a career shift so that she can honor her true nature as a more inward person. And then one more here, Type 2 elementary school teacher, lots of planning and details to prepare for your day, loads of love and connecting with your little ones and their families. So you can see that this really becomes this knowledge will attribute to your success, because if you love what you do and it really draws on your natural gifts and tendencies, you'll be a great contribution in the job that you're enrolled in to then thrive. And when you thrive, money responds to that thriving energy in a very favorable way, and you are able to flow money without even thinking about that being one of the reasons that you're working. You work because you love what you do. I can honestly say I love what I do. Really honors my type 3 secondary 4 nature, and it's just great that I have a lot of variety, a lot going on. I can see a lot of results in my world. And I'm really fortunate to be able to talk to you today to help you achieve that same outcome when it comes to your job. What ahas have you had? Share them in a comment. What's your type? What jobs have you had that have really honored you? Think about that. The ones you loved, I can think of them. The ones that weren't a fit. And it's really clear to me why, because they weren't true to my nature. So put it out there that if you're looking for a job, maybe you need to change jobs, or your job that you have can shift to be more aligned with who you are, that I am grateful for the perfect match I have in my job that honors my true nature and my gifts and talents, true to my energy type. You can have that because we're all meant to thrive and feel amazing. Thanks for watching. We'll be here back next week with more energy profiling with Carol.